Good evening. I'm Tina Monzon-Palma.
I'm Tony Velasques.
On our broadcast tonight, assessing the governance strategy of the Duterte administration more than 2 years since President Duterte assumed office. How is the administration addressing issues of peace and security, developing communities, and empowering the citizenry?
Tonight, in this Christmas edition of The World Tonight, we talk to Malacanang's point person when it comes to strengthening public institutions and fostering participatory governance.
Joining us, the head of the government's Participatory Governance Cluster, Interior and Local Government Secretary, Eduardo Año. Merry Christmas po, sir.
Merry Christmas din.
Namamas ko po.
Sorry, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Opo.
Merry Christmas din sa lahat.
Sa lahat. Opo. I'd like to begin this by asking you, since you assumed as OIC and now as Secretary of DILG, ano po ang pinaka-challenging sa naging trabaho nyo coming from a military discipline?
Well, first of all, there is really an adjustment for you. Coming from the military, PAP is a very solid and rigid, well-disciplined organization. Then suddenly, dito ako sa civilian bureaucracy and napakalaki ng trabaho ng DILG, supervising the local government units and also bureaus like PNP, BJP, Bureau of Fire Protection, and Philippine Public Safety College. I have to make a lot of adjustment. But then being a military man, sanay tayo sa mga changes of adjustment. So I am in the forefront of the programs and priorities of the President, particularly the anti-drugs operation and anti-corruption, and also cleansing and instituting reforms to the PNP and other agencies under the DILG. So ito po yung malaking challenge na hinarap ko. And I'm glad there are people, qualified professional people behind me in doing my mandate.
Yung corruption, sir, no? When the DILG assumed a function of also investigating corrupt public officials, especially through the CIDG, marami pong nag-question na bakit naging function bigla ito ng DILG, hindi ba dapat ipaubaya ito sa ombudsman na sila dapat or sa Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission para sila ang humabol sa mga corrupt officials. Bakit po DILG ang biglang nag-assume nung function?
Well, that's correct. We have to help ombudsman in the fight against corruption. Pagdating kasi sa ombudsman, maraming nadidismiss na kaso kasi kulang na ebidensya, hindi tama yung investigation. So, yung mga dumarating na complaints no, sa ating 888 at saka sa Presidential Complaint Centers, yun ang naging basis namin. Especially dun sa mga local government officials. Kasi lahat ng pinagmulan nito ay bad governance. No? Kapag may corruption, sigurado, dire-diretso yung problema, pati crime attributed sa corruption. So gusto natin na linisin natin yung hanay ng local government officials. Marami kasi tulad ngayon, election na naman. Sigurado maraming bibili ng boto dyan para lang mahalal. Pero pag nahalal na sila, ito na yung payback time. Babawi na sila dito.
Kukubra na?
Yes, kukubra na. My job is to remove bad or corrupt politicians so that people will learn na, and even politicians themselves, hindi mo kailangan bumili ng boto kasi it's not a guarantee that you will finish the term. And then, palitan natin siya ng vice mayor niya. Kung ganun pa rin, palitan ng until we find the right person to be the mayor, to lead the municipality.
Pero meron kayong iminungkahi in some of the items I read about how you want to clean the bureaucracy na gusto nyo yung mga local officials na merong kaso na hindi pa final ang conviction ay hindi muna patakbuhin. Kasama na rin dito yung mga barangay officials na nasa narco list.
Yes.
Ito ba ay mangyayari sa inyong termino or magkakaroon kayo ng kalinawagan sa mga patakaran ito?
Sa kasalukuyang Omnibus Election Code ay kapag ang isang kandidato ay hindi pa nagkaroon ng final conviction, pwede pa rin siyang tumakbo kahit na nakakulong pa siya. Yun yung legal impediment na nakikita namin kung bakit hindi ma-disqualify yung ibang mga kandidato. So we're working out with COMELEC and other agencies how we can find something that would back up our recommendation. We don't know, maybe there is a need for an amendment in the
Human
election
Security.
code. Yeah.
And the Human Security Act, kasama rin po ba yun para mas maayos in terms of police and civilian protection and
Yes. Right
supervision?
now, the Human Security Act that was passed in 2007 is considered as the weakest law in the region. There are so many provisions there that actually favor the accused rather than the law enforcers. Sabi nga nila, kung meron lang tayong malakas na Human Security Act, madali natin ma-prevent yung terrorism. And maybe declaration of martial law in Mindanao may not be necessary. For example, some provisions like you can only hold a suspect for 3 days. Well, that's not enough time to extract all the information that you need and to investigate and study all the circumstances where the suspect is involved.
So how long would you want the period of detention to be extended?
Sa ngayon, mayroong mga amendment na ginagawa ang Congress at saka Senate. It is being spearheaded by Senator Ping Lacson. He's trying to consolidate all the proposed bills. At dito ay pinopropose dito na 30 days ang authority para i-hold mo isang
So
suspect.
you feel that's enough?
Yes, and if you need surveillance to be conducted on particular terrorist with the permission of the court, you'll be given at least 90 days. So malaking bagay yon para ma-prevent natin yung terrorism.
Do you also favor the proposal that intelligence agencies can wiretap persons of interest engaged in possible illegal activities without court authorization?
No, there must be a court authorization.
So you don't believe na it should be a power given to security agencies to go ahead without court authority?
Yes, there must be a court authorization. That's why dito sa Human Security Act, merong dapat na dedicated na judge na maghihiring at naiintindihan niya kung ano yung terrorism. Para makita niya na may basis kung bakit tayo nagre-request ng court order. Kasi ayaw din natin na maabuso yung ganyang klaseng provision.
Yung surveillance na nabanggit ninyo, how much of the intelligence work that contributes to your job is actually based on intelligence provided by barangay officials? Sila ba ay nakakatulong na magbigay ng info about kung saan nagkakaroon ng mga pot session o mga nagtitinda ng shabu? Saan po nanggagaling ang bulk ng intel work that makes you do your job?
Yes, supposedly from the barangay, from the community. Alam nila, magkakakilala yan dun sa barangay. Alam nila yan kung sino yung pusher dyan, kung sino yung gumagamit ng drugs. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatag ng mga barangay anti-drug abuse council. At ito ay mandato. Pwede, meron na kami kinasuhan dito mga barangay captain na hindi nagtayo ng barangay anti-drug abuse council or PACS.
PACS.
Yes, yes. At sila rin mismo dapat ay magbibigay sila ng information sa ating kapulisan, sa ating PDEA, yung mga tinatawag nating persons of interest. No? Ito yung mga tao, alam nga natin kung sino yung nagtutulak o nagpupuser dyan. Ito naman ay yung information, ibabalidate pa naman ito further ng ating mga intelligence agencies. And then we will also build up a case against these people.
Yung
May
pang
due process
Opo,
yan.
excuse me, yung pang-araw-araw na nababalita natin na merong pinuntahan na bahay dito, meron silang nagtitinda, merong nahuli, yun ba ay because of intel work provided by barangay?
Yes, kasama na po.
Opo,
Kasama na
opo.
po yan. No? Kasama na po yung mga information na yan. Plus, meron din po tayong mga tinatawag na information din, galing din mismo sa mga membro ng sindikato. Ito yung mga tinatawag nating mga ahente or agent na recruit ng ating mga law enforcement at intelligence agencies. So sila rin nagbibigay ng information.
So anyway, yung pong nabanggit nyo, kaugnay na rin po ng parang hindrance o balakid ng Human Security Act, na posibleng kinailangan din ng martial law dahil medyo mahina pa yung pag-apply ng Human Security Act. Marami naman hong nagsasabi na kaya naman daw in-extend ang martial law sa Mindanao for another year dahil hindi nga daw naging effective yung purpose ng martial law sa Mindanao, hindi natupad yung objectives at kaya kinailangan i-extend. So yun po ang sinasabi ng mga critics. Kaya naman hindi na dapat i-extend ang martial law because it was proven not to be effective.
Well, on the contrary, during the joint Senate and Congress hearing regarding the extension of martial law, naipakita natin doon yung magagandang accomplishment ng martial law implementation. And nabawasan yung kalaban dito, lalo na yung mga Maute, ISIS, and Abu Sayyaf group, pati na rin sa CPP and PA. No? At kailangan natin masustain yung momentum, yung gains. Otherwise, babalik na naman ito sa dati. Katulad ng isang tao na may sakit na nag-undergo ng treatment, kailangan kompletuhin mo yung antibiotics. Kung hindi, magre-relapse yan, baka mas malala pa yung sakit niya. So dito, we have to admit na after the Marawi crisis, ay malaking kabawasan na sa kalaban. But we have to remember that rebellion is continuing. And marami pa rin remnants na nakalabas ng Marawi, at ito ay ang mga posibleng magkandak pa rin ng terrorism sa mga lugar sa Mindanao. In fact, yung lamitan bombing, no? Kung saan ay may mga namatay tayong sundalo dito, ito ang first time na gumamit sila sa isang van na puno ng IED.
Car bomb.
At nung sumabog, alam niyo natunaw yung mismong van. Dahil yung kalakas. No? So, we don't want this group to be able to consolidate again and start attacking any city or municipality in Mindanao. Likewise, our fight in the CPP-NPA, alam naman natin wala na tayong peace negotiation ngayon. At gusto natin Pangulo talagang tapusin na itong CPP-NPA. Malaking tulong ang martial law dito. The people themselves from Mindanao, they're the ones clamoring the extension of martial law. The Regional Peace and Order Council, 6 ang RPOC sa Mindanao. Ang 4 doon nag-pass ng resolution for the extension of martial law. At yung bawat municipality at probinsya doon, more than 50% ay nag-pass din ng resolution. So, it is really the people who are clamoring and asking for the extension.
Under the present situation, the environment that you're now dealing with the extension of martial law, having minimized the influence of the other terrorist groups, ano ang magagawa nitong martial law ngayon na hindi nagawa noong kasagsagan ng pagbubuo ng mga Maute at saka ng mga ibang terrorist o bandit groups sa Mindanao?
Well, malaki ang difference. Without the martial law, of course, may mga calling powers ang ating presidente. But you know, even putting up curfews and checkpoints all around will be subject to the petition of the local government units. So kabi-kabi ng petition, kaso ang haharapin ng ating mga law enforcement. Whereas with martial law, because of the powers of martial law, we can implement all necessary measures. And there are so many powers in martial law that actually can be used by the President and the Armed Forces and the PNP. Pero hindi lang natin ginagamit. Like for example, if there's a need to take over or seize control of a business facility or a public utility, if it is being used in the furtherance of rebellion, pwede nating i-apply yan. But because we are achieving the parameters that we have set, hindi na natin kailangan yan. But mabuti na yung nandyan yung kanyang powers na pwede natin magamit agad. But one thing is sure, wala tayong naririnig na abuses, human rights violations na ginagawa ng ating kasundalan ng kapulisan. Kung meron mga allegations, lahat yan ay ating inimbestigahan at nakita natin na hindi naman pala totoo. So, with martial law, we found out that even the local government units and the officials are more effective. They are more cooperative with our law enforcers. And in fact, pag titingnan natin, tumaas pa nga yung, nagkaroon pa ng economic growth sa most cities and areas in Mindanao.
Okay. Well,
Ito yung hinihingi ni Congressman
Edson
Edson Lagman
Yes.
during your joint session sa Kongreso kung ano ba yung empirical data. So meron kayong pinangahawakan na merong ang pagbabago
Yes.
sa mga iba't ibang sektor ng mga tiga Mindanao lamang.
Pero ang maganda dito yung epekto sa mga ordinaryong pamumuhay ng mga nakatira sa Mindanao. The checkpoints and the curfews, actually, they're more comfortable. Kasi alam nila, ang kalsada ay dominated by police and military. There was an instance na we removed some checkpoints. Alam mo, nagreklamo yung mga mamamayan. Sabi nila, ibalik niyo yung checkpoint. Hindi na kami komportable kung mawawala ang checkpoint sa panahon ngayon. Because yung mga magulang, alam nila na ang anak nila uuwi ng safe pagdating ng gabi. Even, although medyo inconvenient because of checkpoint, but if you feel you're safer, convenience can be, sacrificed a little.
okay, mag-break muna tayo.
Sige.
Alright, so Secretary Andrew will continue our interview, but in the meantime, we have to take a short break.
You're back on The World Tonight. Still with us, Participatory Governance Cluster Head, Interior and Local Government Secretary, Eduardo Año. Welcome back. Paano po nyo na-manage yung sundalo at nanggaling po kayo sa pagiging sundalo for many years,
Yes.
Chief of Staff, ESAF, and all sorts of assignments. At yung pulis ngayon, meron ba kayong nakikitang pagkakaiba sa pamamaraan ng pag-enforce nila ng batas at saka yung protection ng mga sibilyan?
Kasi,
May iba silang pananaw
yeah,
sa palagay mo?
ang kasi, ang military kasi, simple lang ang orientation ng military to defeat the enemy. So they treat armed group as enemy, napakasimple. Sa PNP, it is to protect the community, protect the people, save lives. So, malaki ang orientation nila. But, when it comes to discipline, dito sa AP, meron kasi tinatawag tayong military justice system. Mayroong article of war na tinatawag na kayang i-implement ng officers ng armed forces. Like, for example, Article of War 105, the disciplinary power of the commanding officer. He can put immediately anybody under his command for detention or confinement or immediately impose hard labor. That is protected in the military justice system. Sa Philippine National Police, this is a civilian character. Meron silang covered sila ng civil service law. So meaning to say, you cannot just impose any punishment to your subordinate. Otherwise, pwede siya mag-file ng kaso sa iyo. Kaya, yung pag-dismiss na isang pulis na nagkaroon ng kasalanan, medyo matagal. Kasi marami siyang due process na dadaanan. Pwede pa siyang mag-appeal sa National Appellate Court, sa NAPOLCOM, sa DILG, to the President, and to the Civil Service Commission. Kaya nga ang pinakamabilis na pag-dismiss sa isang pulis, pinakamabilis is probably aabutin ng 1 year. Minsan aabutin ng 2 years because of, the provisions of the Yun din ang nangyayari kung bakit hindi mo na-impose kagad yung pagdisiplina sa ating mga kapulisan. But of course,
Yun ba ang malaki niyong problema? Lumalago ba ang mga kaso ng mga kapulisan rather than the military or the soldiers or the enlisted men in terms of conduct?
well, actually hindi naman tinatawag nating lumalago kasi andyan na yan eh. Even before I came to the ILG, andyan na sila, yung mga tinatawag natin, bad eggs or scalawags. Lumalaki yung numbers kasi mabilis na ngayon ang aksyon ng ating Philippine National Police under Director General Oscar Anguialde. No? Mabilis ang pagpataw ng kaso at pati yung summary dismissal hearing. From 2016 July, ng pag-upo ng ating Pangulo, Pangulong Duterte until now, based on our data after first semester of 2018, nasa around 1,900 na ang na-dismiss natin mga kapulisan. At patuloy yan, every 2 weeks nakakanda kami ng Polcom N-Bank at nire-review namin yung mga kaso.
But none of them because of supposed involvement in extrajudicial hearings.
Meron din.
Meron?
Meron din. Ibig sabihin, ang pagkaso kasi sa ating kapulisan ay pwedeng administrative at saka criminal. Yung criminal, yun ang nilalagak sa korte, sa ombudsman. At yun namang administrative, yan naman ang kinakandak ng ating PNP at saka na Polcom. So, sabay yan, minsan mas nauuna yung administrative. Hindi pa tapos yung kaso niya sa korte, dismiss na siya.
So, yung nakaraan, there were 3 Caloocan policemen
Yes.
who were also convicted because of the sensational crime, yung pagpatay doon sa teenager si Kian de los Santos. And so many observers are saying that the conviction of the 3 policemen proves that there is such a thing as an EJK, even though Malacanang is denying that it ever happens. But does it also mean that...
But this Kian de los Santos, they admit that it was.
Well,
With the pronouncements of the President and Sal Panelo.
Right. if it's an EJK, does it mean that there has to be some form of, siguro, some way of changing the police approach to the anti-drug campaign?
Well, una-una, I would like to clarify na walang EJK. There is no such thing as state policy of EJK. In fact, even if you look at the operation plan katatagan of our PNP, makikita mo doon na there's no such policy nor declaration. It is always emphasize the rule of engagement and the rule of law. The conviction of the perpetrators on the Kian de Santos killing is a proof that first, justice system is effective, and then the statement of the President is a manifestation that he does not tolerate or condone this kind of killings or what you call EJK. In fact, dito nakikita na yung statement ating Presidente na sagot ko kayo, yun lang yung mga nagpe-perform ng duty and following the rule of law. Pero kung ikaw ay gumawa ng ganyang pagpatay o kalokohan na hindi naman talaga in accordance to the rule of law at rule of engagement, you will not be supported by the President, even by me as the SIOJ of the Chief.
Because I think, I don't know, maybe Tina was also reminded of the time when the President was saying in a speech, ano ba ang kasalanan ko? Kasalanan ko lang naman, EJK. And you know, his critics were quick to pounce on that, and they said, aha, you're admitting na may EJK.
Well, you must know the President fully well. In public, he's very emotional, and sometimes he made statements na because of his emotion. But during joint ABPNP command conference during cabinet meeting, you'll see the real him. Na he's a lawyer. He has been a prosecutor before he became a mayor. He knows the law, and he will never violate the law because he's an agent of law. Kaya nga maraming minsan misconception because alam mo, pagka ito lang yung pinagbasihan mo, isang statement, at yun na yung mundo, parang alam natin yung the tail of the elephant, no? Because nahawakan mo yung buntot ng elephant, ang sabi mo, ahas na yun. Nahawakan mo yung kanyang paa, parang puno.
So you're saying that we're not seeing all the facets of the President, but the problem is, Mr. Secretary, is that it's the President that you see talking on national television, and whatever he says comes from his own mouth, which is the mouth of the President. So how can you disassociate what he says from his office as the highest official of the land?
Well, first of all, every time he makes a statement in public. We jot it down and then talk about it and make a policy statement. So we discuss it. We discuss with the presidential advisor, and then finally craft the final policy. And you know what? If the president made a statement of something, and we told the president, Mr. President, can we be clarified on this? And you know what? If he made a mistake, he would even apologize and say, that's not what I mean.
Did you clarify whether he really smokes marijuana?
That's just a joke.
That's a joke, okay.
Alam mo,
Sige. Buti na tinanong na natin yun, dahil para malinaw.
May kwentuhan nga kami dyan. Sinabi na, sir, totoo ba na nag-smoke si President ng marijuana? Oh, pare, bad trip ka naman.
Bigla naging ano?
So, that's just a joke.
Okay.
It's just
Let's go to the politicians. Kayo po ang parang may supervisory or control over the politicians' behavior and discipline as the DILG.
Yes,
Ano po ang experience nyo and the challenges sa dami ng mga local officials tatakbo sa darating na midterm elections? Meron bang kayong hinahandang suspension? Merong inintay kayong desisyon?
Well, tuloy-tuloy
In
po
the
naman
coming
yung
days.
ang trabaho ng DILG is we as the supervisor of the local government officials as an alter ego of the president, because you know we belong to the executive branch, to ensure that these local government officials are accountable for their actions, and also to empower them to govern their constituencies, and at the same time to make sure that our local government executives, being the chief executives of their own municipalities and cities and provinces, shall be the enforcer of all national laws, local laws, and ordinances. Now, if they fail, it's my job to account them and file cases against them. So, hindi lang naman yung pagpaparusa, pati din yung pag-empower. Ito kasi nakasalalay eh. Simple-simple lang naman talaga eh. Good governance and delivery of services eh. As a mayor, as a governor, yan ang talagang dapat mong pag-isipan.
Saan po nakukulang yung mga local government officials elected sa kanilang performance of duty na nakakabigay ng masamang perception tungkol sa kanilang
Well,
governance?
sad to say, mostly are abuse of authority. Yeah, being the mayor, they would like to, get things done on their way. Even trampling on the rights of their constituents, especially their, political opposition. Number two, corruption. The ease of doing business. Sometimes, sila pa yung nagpapahirap para makakuha ng lisensya yung isang negosyante kasi yun pala, interested siya dahil yung kamag-anak niya, ganun din yung negosyo. Some projects that have to be implemented, yung gagamitin nilang contractor, dami nila. No? So, yun yung mga nakita natin naghihintir kung bakit hindi niya nagagawa yung trabaho niya. Dapat kung public service lang. Otherwise, huwag ka na tumandatong mayor mo. Mag-negosyante ka na lang, sigurado, yayaman ka dyan. Pero kung gagamitin mo yung ganyan, kawawa naman yung ating mga constituents.
Marami na bang kaso kayong nakita na ganyan? Ay yung in-explain yung iba-ibang behavior nila?
Well,
Abuse of authority,
since
paggamit ng posisyon
since
nila?
I assume as OIC and then SILG this year, I have signed the implementation of about 90 either dismissal or suspension of our local chief executives, ranging from abuse of authority, corruption, grave misconduct. So, and we are in tandem with the Ombudsman. Alam mo ako, bilib ako sa ating Ombudsman, Ombudsman Martinez. He's very quick and talagang he means business. So, ito, I think malaking bagay ito para siguradong malinis natin yung hanay ng ng local government.
Sir, let's speed things up along. Medyo paubos na yung oras natin. Election.
Yes.
Of course, PNP, DILG will be at the forefront of safeguarding the safety of the ballot. Pero what about yung existence pa rin ng drug money in the campaign? Sa tingin niyo po ba magiging problema pa rin ang narco-politics in this election?
Yes, meron pa rin problema kasi still we have narco politicians on the list na hindi naman mapagbawalang tumakbo because of legal ground. But I'm happy that some political parties na nag-a-adapt, like for example, the PDP Laban, I heard Senator Coco Pimentel na hindi sila magpipil ng kandidato na nasa drug list.
Ilan po yung nasa drug list ba na nasa PDP ngayon?
I'm not sure of the number. But in totality, meron pa tayong mga around 87 na nasa listahan.
87?
Yes. Ang mga 68 doon ay mayors. In fact, meron din congressman doon na nandoon at vice governor.
Yung bang sa mga listahan na yun na mayor, vice governor at congressman, may naambus na po ba? Meron po bang napatay?
Merong napatay doon.
May napatay?
Meron
Si Mayor Loot na Daan Bantayan, ilang beses na atang nagkaroon ng banta sa buhay niya eh. Nasa drug watch list pa rin ba siya?
Yes.
He's still there. Pero parang nagtago na ho ata, di ba?
We'll verify that kasi isa yan sa mga iniimbestigahan natin, yung mga mayors na nasa listahan pagkatapos hindi na nagre-report sa kanyang sa opisina. Meron lang siyang safe house, ginagala yung papeles. Well, how can you govern?
Pero patuloy pa rin yung drug pushing activities niya. Nasa narco list siya, alam niya na nasa listahan siya at nagtatrabaho pa siya as a local government.
So tuloy
Pero
pa rin.
patuloy po yung
Well, I have to
drug.
refer that to the agencies like PIDEA and Philippine National Police Drug Enforcement Group because I'm focusing more on the governance and accountability of our local government officials.
Okay, yung hinaharap po ng 2019, are you optimistic? Are you looking at a more informed citizenry, participative citizenry, inspired citizenry? Paano po nyo nakikita ang 2019 in relation to governance, especially of the citizens?
Yes. Well, ang marami kasing trabaho talaga yung DILG. Fighting crime and anti-drugs, fighting also corruption, and then in the disaster our disaster and risk reduction ay vice chairman tayo doon. So we are making sure that our communities are resilient and ready for any disaster. Yung ating fight against environmental degradation and also our advocacy for the shift of our form of government into a federal system. So yan yung mga challenges na pinakaharap namin. But we have enough programs to implement that. But looking at it, sa tingin ko, ang talagang mga challenges natin is still fighting corruptions and fighting illegal drugs. So kailangan natin ng massive advocacy para ang community mismo, ang mga tao mismo ay tumulong. Hindi kasi ito kaya ng government lang. Kailangan dito ay whole of nation initiative and whole of government approach. Importante yung community, even our fight against terror. Importante ang participation ng ating community. Ang feedback na galing sa kanila, ang information. Sila yung unang-unang makakita sa ground kung mayroong suspicious looking people. At sila rin yung mga unang nakakaalam kung may kakaiba sa barangay. So, for 2019, we have already laid out our programs. Magkakanta kami ng empowerment and capacity building sa ating local government units at saka iikot tayo lahat, no? Yung kung mapapansin niyo, meron tayong mga barangay summit. This December 18, we'll have another barangay summit in Davao. No less than the president will be there. At doon sa barangay summit, we discuss these things: corruption, anti-drugs, anti-terrorism, and also other concerns. So the President mismo magdi-discuss. And we will do it all around the country. We start from the grassroots.
Sir, ihabol ko lang po. Nabanggit nyo, one of the siguro parang tasks that you have for you ahead of 2019 is the shift to a federal system. No? So, sa Kongreso, mabilis na sumusulong yung federal charter proposal kahit wala pa sa Senado. Pero ang una kasing sabi ng Malacanang nun, let's put it aside na muna kasi it looks like people don't understand it yet.
Yes, yes.
Sa papel niyo po ba in the DILG, how prepared are you to educate people about the importance of a federal system, and how should you convince them that it's actually what we need?
Well, first, the President already issued an executive order for the creation of an interagency task force on federalism. And I am the chairman of the task force, and Secretary Ibarra of DOJ is my vice chairman. And it is composed of different government agencies that would help us to advocate, explain to the people, and conduct roadshows, consultations, using the product of the CONCOM, headed by Chief Justice Renato.
Using the product of the CONCOM. Pero
Yes,
po yung
yes.
sinusulong ata sa Kongreso ni Speaker Arroyo, hiwalay dun sa
Yes, yes,
CONCOM.
yes.
So alin po ang, sa tingin ninyo, ang kailangan yung pagbigay alam sa publiko?
Well, supposedly, ang mangyayari dapat, the product of the CONCOM will be submitted to Congress. And that shall be the basis for the public hearing, for the amendment, for the changes, for the harmonization. Because marami, doon naman sa product ng CONCOM, merong mga additional din na input doon. So, i-harmonize yan sa Congress. What we want is to conduct massive information drive so that the people will be aware and they will participate in the discussion so that we can have a federal charter that is really responsive to the needs and sentiments of our people. Kasi constitution yung babaguhin natin dito. So dapat participation talaga. Yung sa sinusulong ng House, unfortunately, we are not consulted on this because parang mabilis masyado. Mabilis. At may mga provisions doon na
Hindi ba kayo nagtaka bakit biglang bumilis?
well, that is a prerogative of Congress.
Opo.
But I think hindi na rin siya papasa sa
Hindi aabot.
Hindi na aabot
Hindi na
kasi tulad niyan nag break na ang Congress. And next year ay election period na. All of the
May
people in
plebiscito pa ho.
Congress.
Sa
Yes,
BOL.
pati BOL sa February. Kaya nga maganda ito extension ng martial law. We can actually, we have a very good tool to ensure that it would be peaceful and orderly. And likewise, the midterm elections on May. So, maganda itong martial law extension. Kaya hindi na aabot yan dahil ang isip ng mga tao na yun, tsaka mga politicians natin is how to get re-elected. But, after that, what our plans is harmonize all the comments,
Yeah.
the inputs that would further, improve the product of the CONCOM,
Okay.
and then use this as our basis for the advocacy and information drive, and then submit it to Congress, so that the Congress, probably the next
The next
Congress,
Congress.
can really have a good discussion and come up with a good draft and proposal subject for the plebiscite.
Wait, Tina.
Thank you. Are you going to take a break in Palawan or in Boracay? You're very happy about the outcome of that effort of the entire group in government, DOT and your other partners, the environment as well. Ito ba ay something that must be done on a nationwide basis, of which you are going to be always a part of?
Yes, the President already has already issued the guidance to us. He wants us to only, after Boracay, to clean all other tourist destinations like El Nido. Actually, we started already in El Nido, Coron, Puerto Galera, Siargao, and Panglao. So, gusto natin na siguradong maging talagang world class ito. at maprotektahan din yung ating mga tourist dyan.
Okay.
Okay.
Salamat.
Happy New Year.
Secretary Aldo.
Kanina Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr.
Maraming
Secretary.
salamat.
Thank you very much din, Tony.
Tony.
Thank you.
Maraming
Okay.
salamat sa opportunity at mabuhay kayo. At gusto ko rin batiin ng Merry Christmas yung buong Department ng Interior and Local Government. At saludo ako sa kanila.
Salamat po.
Okay. That's all the time we have, and thank you very much, Secretary Anyong, for this interview.